Good day, everyone. In a few months, we will open the new school year. However, because of this COVID pandemic, we are restricted to be inside our classroom. But technology will provide us with virtual classrooms. Today, we will discuss the development of online instructional materials, specifically of virtual classrooms that we will use for a better normal. Online distance learning is part of the distance learning modalities, which would also include the modular distance learning and the television and radio-based instruction. Online distance learning will require the use of learning management system, which could be the Edmodo, Moodle, or Google Classroom, among others. However, it should meet the requirements set by the school and, of course, of the Department of Education. Things that can be considered are availability of resources online, availability of laptop, mobile phones and gadgets, and internet connectivity. Online distance learning will require the access of digital devices to internet. Learning materials are accessible via DepEd Commons or through the learning management system or through other open educational resources or OER. It is a requirement for those who will go to online distance learning that teachers know basic computer skills and online teaching methodology. Teachers or learning facilitators schedule of synchronous or the real-time or asynchronous disparate time and space online discussion. There are two delivery modes for online learning. The first is asynchronous learning. This will allow our learners to take the subject and the courses at their own schedule. Teachers will provide the materials, lesson guides, tests, assignments that can be accessed at any time. Students are given a time frame, usually a 1-week window, for them to accomplish the task or to answer the worksheets or materials provided by the teachers. Students are free to contribute whenever they choose. Here, materials can be sent through email or by sending them through private messages in social media. The second one is synchronous learning. Synchronous learning requires students and teachers to be online at the same time. Lectures, discussions are done at a specific hour, and students must be online at a specific hour to participate. Usually, in asynchronous learning, classes, discussion are done through video conferencing or teleconferencing. In synchronous learning, since our students and the teacher are discussing at the same time, there is a possibility of more engagement and effective discussion. It allows an instant feedback and clarification. However, in asynchronous, since it is not in real time, communication is not live, there's a possibly more convenient and flexible in terms of work demands and activities for our learners, because it would be a self-paced activity because they can accomplish the activity anytime that they are available or whenever that they are already ready. It allows students to work at their own pace. Asynchronous learning would also provide our students with due dates and time frames. Although that they can work at their own flexible time, at their own most convenient time, there are deadlines that they have to meet. So the lesson notes, the materials, activity worksheets can be provided by the teachers and can be sent through email or any communication platform. While for synchronous, since they can do a teleconference, there can be a feedback mechanism, clarification can be done, question and answers, discussions. However, it requires more bandwidth. So if we will use asynchronous learning, synchronous learning, it has to be checked that the bandwidth of our learners and that of the school are good enough to cater this approach. However, it can also be combined, which means at certain period of time, the whole class can have a teleconference and a discussion, which is asynchronous. Then after that, the teacher will provide the material, then the teacher will let the students accomplish the material at their own time, at their most convenient and flexible time, which is already asynchronous learning. So we can use a combination of synchronous and asynchronous learning. The delivery of online learning would require the use of an LMS or learning management system, which is an application which will organize the content, the modules, lessons, quizzes, tests, and discussions used in the online learning. Here are some of the well-known examples of learning management systems. We have the Blackboard, the Moodle, Decide2Learn, Canvas, WebCT, Angel Learning, and of course, the Google Classroom. The Department of Education recommends the use of Google Classroom, Moodle, among others. The learning management system would require an access for students and teachers where courses or lesson guides would be provided, delivery and content, just as mentioned earlier in synchronous, teleconference can be used in the discussion of the lesson, courses collaboration, since in asynchronous, students can work together and can collaborate with each other, progress tracking, because submission of worksheets, of assessment materials can be done also in LMS, giving of assignments, and practices and exams. To use a Google Classroom in a browser, go to classroom.google.com, or using your mobile phone, download the Google Classroom application, which can be downloaded at Play Store or App Store. Once downloaded, or once you have opened the link, use your Gmail account or your DepEd email account to log in. You would be required to use the same username and password as that of your DepEd email or Gmail account in the Google Classroom. Here are some of the interface of a Google Classroom using a mobile phone. What you can see in here are the different classes which was organized by the teacher. So the teacher can organize a class, for example, labeled in here by different subjects. What you can see in the next three interface are posts and activities given to the students, like this one, to record their own video of the Elements song, to balance a worksheet or balance equation worksheet provided. If you can see, there's a button in there, done, because this would be clicked by our learners after they are done or they have submitted their outputs. So just like this one, a prompt that our students have submitted the output. This is a coursework for the assignment. So if you can see, a teacher can post the assignments, then the students would be reminded of the due dates. Then they will also be reminded what they are going to submit and when they have to submit the assignments. This is another interface, but this time it's on the teacher's account. Earlier, that was for the student account. So you can see they need to submit here their outputs. The teacher account would look like this. This is still a mobile interface. If you can see, the names of your students are visible in here, and you would be able to see who have submitted their output and who have submitted their output as a draft copy. So you can see in here the number of assignments given, the number of students who were able to submit, and those that you have checked. So in a way, you are also guided by the progress of the outputs of your learners. Using the same LMS, you can ask a question from your learners, a survey just like this one, asking their preference for a field trip, so they can also give an answer. This one, it's an courseware that will illustrate to us the different activities you have provided as a teacher. You have provided for each of the course. Like in Algebra 2, you have instructed them to watch a video. You have instructed them to do a recap, and also another video to be viewed, and a parabola worksheet that they need to accomplish. This one is another interface of the students. So if you can see, after you check their outputs are again submitted at the LMS or to Google Classroom. What you would be able to see in there is their grade and the score. So just like this one, it's 100, 100. We're perfect. And below that, they can also give a comment. And even your classmates can also make a comment for their output. Here are some of what we call as recipes for online learning. First is what we call as check-in inside the classroom. This is where we check the attendance. But in online learning, we don't simply check the attendance of our learners, but we also check the status of their devices and of course their internet connection. So you can make use of Google Forms or Typeform application to do the check-in. Then we have the seminar discussion. This is where the teacher would now start a discussion of the lesson, which can be done through a teleconference or a pre-recorded video, or by providing them a module or a lesson guide. So we can use Moodle, Google Classroom, even Facebook groups or Viber for discussion. We can also use the Padlet, Zoom, Google Hangouts for online discussion still. And for sharing documents, you can use Google Docs and Padlet also. So aside from a teleconference, there is also an application that will allow you to provide them, for example, a PDF copy of a reading material or a book, which should be shared to the rest of the students in the class. Another is rapid report. This is the time wherein students are presenting their outputs. However, you can also provide them with different applications that they can use. For example, when they do research, so they can do Google search or YouTube. When they make a PowerPoint presentation, so in the classroom, our learners will present their outputs or will publish their findings at the end of the activity. In the online learning, they can also do that, but this time we'll be using Google Slides. Then another, aside from the presentation, you can also time, so to speak, their presentation. You can do that in a Google Slide, in the Zoom, or in the Google Hangouts. Another is the how-to, or this is to maximize available video tutorials for home-based practice. So we can use the YouTube, Khan Academy, Splice, KineMaster, among others. We can use also video making for the assessment of our learners. So like for the skill subjects, you can let them video themselves perform or show their output or product, and the video would be recorded and would be submitted as part of their output, and that can be used also for you to assess their performance. Then the next is next recipe for online learning is the jigsaw group work. These are different applications that can be used for group activity. So still, we have more or less the same applications in Moodle, Google Classroom, Facebook groups, Viber, Zoom, and Google Hangouts. Next recipe for online learning is the classboard. This is where collaboration of different ideas to produce outputs can be done, like class inventory, online research, or collaborative board. So we can use here Padlet, Google Jamboard, Google Search as application to support collaboration. Next is the essay. This is where assessments can be done in online and of course multimedia, which can they use Google Search, Google Docs, Loom Recorder, Padlet, Canva, among others. So they can use this to make a report, to write a response, or to provide a feedback. To learn more how to use and how to manipulate Google Classroom, go to the link that you can find on the screen on the YouTube video, How to Use Google Classroom Tutorial for Beginners. This is a comprehensive video on the discussion of the different applications and functions of Google Classroom. You can also download the file at the 2020 Summer INSET Digital Materials folder. For our workshop for this session, using a Google Classroom, after viewing the tutorial video, create a class with at least 5 students. For the purpose of this workshop, you will be the teacher, which means you will create a teacher account, and your colleagues would be your students. Preferably, in a small school, we can have one Google Classroom account. One would be the teacher, then the rest would act as a student. Or you can change roles. You can ask for their Gmail or DepEd email to send invite for the class. Post announcements at your stream and upload a worksheet or assignment at a classwork. So once you have explored already Google Classroom, you would know what is a stream and what is a classwork. Explore Google Classroom and enjoy, but don't forget to take a screenshot. Let me end the session with the words of Arne Duncan. Technology alone isn't going to improve student achievement. The best combination is great teachers working with technology to engage students in the pursuit of the learning they need. It's quite sad that we will not be able to go back to our classroom, to the school that we used to know. But technology will provide us with a new classroom, a virtual classroom. Let us make use of this technology to enhance the learning experience of our learners, that despite this challenging time, we would still have the opportunity to gather them, to discuss with them face-to-face in a virtual situation. Because at the end of the day, it's your conversation, your discussion, how you talk together, how you go through the process, how you unfold and uncover the concept and the competencies that would develop the capability and the capacity of our learners. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.